Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the JEROMESTRIKEBEATS Podcast, Episode 2. The JEROMESTRIKEBEATS Podcast is brought to you by nobody. But soon. Hello fam, happy Saturday and welcome to another edition of the JEROMESTRIKEBEATS Podcast. My name is Donnie Jerome Waldman. I will be your host today, and this is a special episode because we're going to be covering a lot of different things regarding mental health, regarding music, regarding our moods, our ups and downs, our emotions. We're going to get right into it. So first off, you can follow me on Instagram at JEROMESTRIKEBEATS, all one word, and on Twitter at JEROMESTRIKE. And that's the social media is just, if you want to get in touch with me, if you want to contribute to the podcast, if you want to bring a meme on board, if you want to bring a question, a topic, shoot me a video, an email, a voicemail, whatever. I just want to hear from you. Now, today we're going to go over all sorts of things. Now this morning I was installing the litter box at our house. My wife was on her way to work, and so we were on the phone, and I was just getting really frustrated. I didn't understand how the litter box was just a few inches off the ground, just a tiny tad off the ground. It was something not quite right with it. And it was just frustrating me. It was pissing me off. I was sweating bullets. I was doing everything I could just to not to throw the phone across the room. I pretty much almost did that. My wife could attest. She hung up the phone on me. We had a moment there. But it was just one of those, I'm not used to these ups and downs and being so conscious of them. It's only been a short period of time where I've actually decided to try to harness my moods and kind of really study why am I feeling the way I'm feeling, if I'm feeling overwhelmed or if I'm feeling up or if I'm feeling really down. Now, moods are just so important. It's just that's why I try to start, every podcast, every post with a happy blank, happy Saturday, happy Tuesday, whatever it may be. Because I just, mood is such an important setter of the tone for anything, for whatever it might be, for if you're, coming to an interview, if you're going to hang out with friends, if you're on a date with somebody, it's really important that you bring your best mood to the table, or else you're going to affect the temperature of the entire room. And it's never fun, and it kind of overtakes you. It's just a bad mood can kind of take your day south. It can kind of ruin your day. Like, if you've ever seen that meme where the car is right in the middle of the lane of the exit, and it is just making that split-second decision to go in the exit, and it's, it's a meme. Memes are difficult to talk about on a podcast, but the car is going to the exit sign, and it is kind of swerved into the exit, and that is what a bad mood is like. It kind of swerves your day into the wrong direction. It could end up killing somebody. It's not the best. It's not the best. Moods are really, really important. So you got to kind of take care of your mental health. You got to kind of focus every day, whether it be, stretching or meditating or kind of, sitting by yourself, just kind of anything that can kind of be something that kind of centers yourself or grounds yourself and kind of makes you more aware of how you're, putting off your energy into this world, because it's very important. We don't talk about it enough. It's kind of, as a society, I feel like mental health is something that we need to, take care of each other a little more, because it's been, I'm a 30-year-old, and it kind of, actually I'm 32. How old am I? Uh, when's my birthday again? But it took a while for me to understand that you need to take your mental health into priority in your life. And a lot of it had to do with my decision making to come out here to Florida. I wanted to get away from Los Angeles, kind of the whole hustle and bustle, the whole impatientness of that town. Los Angeles is full of a lot of people who have places to be, who have no time for you, who have kind of their own agenda of what success kind of looks like. A lot of clout chasing in Los Angeles, I would say. I mean, there's also a lot of brilliant things going on, a lot of people, but there was just, in my experience, there was a lot of negative energy and a lot of people trying to bring you down if you weren't at their level, if you weren't already at their level. And it's very difficult to tell if you're hanging around the wrong energy and if you're kind of giving yourself up to the wrong kind of energies in the world. So you got to be careful. You got to really kind of understand where your boundaries are and where you're kind of looking to, you got to protect yourself. You got to kind of protect your mental. You got to always be aware of just, your surroundings, because you kind of never know. And it's really hard to kind of to gauge whether or not people are being real or being fake or kind of have their own agenda. A lot of it, I mean, I digress. I'm getting off topic. Anyway, I'm over it now. My mood is a lot better. Sipping on my coffee from my abs are great, but have you tried donuts mug? Because, I love donuts. I'm trying to get into better shape. I'm trying to exercise a little bit. I'm trying to do calisthenics every morning. That's kind of a little stretching, a little yoga, a little meditation, a little bit of, inner peace I'm looking for. So I'm trying to do that a little more. I'm getting back into the swing of things. It downpoured last night. It was kind of the rain. It was one of those nights where the rain woke us up. It was pouring so hard. And it was one of those things that it just, it soothes you, and it also kind of jars you awake. You got to kind of like make sure everything's in check. You got to, in our case, we got to make sure the back door isn't flooding into the house. Excuse me. I was told by my wife that I burp too much on the podcast, so I will work on that. Now, I've been thinking a lot about my work ethic and how my moods affect my work ethic. I have to be in a good, really, really good headspace to have a really, really productive day. It kind of takes its toll if I'm working through some negative energies. It expels a lot of energy. It's kind of really difficult to figure that out sometimes, especially with the music, when you're constantly told on social media, are you grinding? Have you made a beat this week? Are you working this weekend? It's the weekend, but are you making beats? Are you doing everything you can do to get towards your goal? And sometimes the thing that you need to do to get towards your goal is to take a step back and to realize that, to kind of look at how far you've come. Even you kind of can self-reflect a little bit, and you kind of have to, sometimes you need to take a break. Sometimes you just need to say, I'm not doing a beat today. I'm not making music today. I'm taking a break from music. And it's not the same as procrastination. And I want to get into that. Procrastination can be a whole bunch of different things. It can kind of be, social media is a big time procrastinator for me. Napping is one of my favorite ways of procrastination. Then again, these are also very constructive tools in terms of, replenishing yourself or getting that networking connection out there with the social media, or, in the case of napping, just kind of recharging your batteries. I mean, sometimes there's nothing wrong with that in a way, as long as you're kind of aware of how you're going about your day and how you want your day to look. It's kind of really difficult I keep saying it's really difficult. I'm feeling repetitive. And again, it becomes easier as it goes along. I was working, in FL Studio today, and I was just going through every different troubleshooting because I'm trying to drag WAV files or MP3s or whatever into my DAW, right into FL Studio to be able to halftime it or speed it up or whatever. So I've been trying to do that. I've been looking at all these different forums. I've been looking at all these different videos. Some videos are really hilarious, and they all do the same thing. It's really like a drag and drop, but it took me forever to realize that my version just simply won't accept the audio files into the DAW. And I have to pay $77 in order to be able to do that, or to record vocals. So that's where I'm at right now with FL Studio. I've paid for it, but I've also not paid enough. So currently I'm recording in Ableton. And it's just a lot easier. That's what I'm doing the podcast in. But I digress. It doesn't really matter. Now, things that motivate me, things that wake me up in the morning. One, I would have to say my wife. She is amazing. She does everything for us. She works her ass off. She, pays the bills, makes sure we pays the bills on time. She's getting our wedding in order. She's doing all sorts of things, just amazing things. And so it motivates me to kind of wake up and live my best life for her. And this morning was an example of try and really kind of, sometimes you just lose your patience. Sometimes you kind of get overwhelmed. Sometimes it gets a little crazy, and you kind of don't know what is, stopping whatever it is that is kind of allowing you to be a better partner. And it's kind of, you have to really, it's a good relationship, I'm learning, is a ton of sacrifice, and you kind of need to, going into it, I know this isn't the basis of this podcast. This podcast is going to cover everything, but I'm learning about relationships. I'm learning about my own, and I'm learning about just the amount of sacrifice that you have to make. And it's beautiful in a way, and you're working together on these things. And so it kind of helps, you're able to shape your lives together, your life together as a unit. If you're doing these things, if you're taking the necessary steps, if you're learning how to listen, if you're learning how to, function in a relationship on the day-to-day with kind of, the different mood swings, and dealing with someone else's mood and mental health it can be a challenge too, but it kind of, you need to find that person that kind of helps you regulate your own emotions. And that's why it's really important to harness your emotions. And that's where the mood thing comes in, because it's all about harnessing your emotions and about realizing, okay, I'm overwhelmed. I need to get unwhelmed. I need to unwind this cable that is, tightening its grip on whatever the situation is. I need this tension to go away. And sometimes, it takes that click on the phone, or, it takes in the other sense, her, saying what's wrong, or you can do this, or you got this, just something reassuring. It's just kind of, we find ourselves in these moments where it takes that, and it's a beautiful thing, my relationship, because we kind of just we've been able to get to a point where we we're really aware of each other's emotions, and it's, taken a long time, and it's taken a lot of back and forth in realizing how much we mean to each other, and how much every day we wake up in this beautiful life that we have together. And then planning the future, that is kind of another thing that motivates me, just kind of talking about what's ahead and what we're building towards, and kind of helping, me see my own 5-year plan within the 5-year plan or 10-year plan of my relationship, or whatever our next adventure is together, because life is an adventure, and you get to choose your own destiny, people. Don't let anyone else choose your destiny. Don't let your parents tell you what to do. Don't let your friends tell you what's cool or not. Don't let if you're in a negative relationship, figure it out, or if you got to get out of it, you got to get out of it. But there's just a lot of different, ways in which you can protect your own mental health. And you can kind of, hopefully this helps. Now, another thing that motivates me is the pets. And I like to talk about the pets because they are my favorite thing to make fun of. Because so today Nugget, our little rabbit Nugget, a little buddy, he didn't have any food. And so we woke up, we kind of had coffee, we kind of chilled out. We didn't feed him immediately. And we were kind of noticing, we were like, oh, Nugget is super chill. He doesn't care. He's so lax. He's whatever about, his food. All of a sudden, we hear a clang. Nugget has flipped his carrot bowl up, like off the shelf, off of his stoop where he stands, where he hangs out all day. He flipped it onto the bottom, and he just we could tell he was ruffled. And so we figured it was time. It was time to feed him. And it was just that little, these little creatures, they have so much emotion. They have so much, it's beautiful to see their personalities in a way, even though it's just a rabbit or a cat or a dog or whatever, I mean, speaking of cats with personalities, did anyone see Cats? Apparently Cats tanked at the box office. I'm not surprised. I wasn't a fan when I saw it in theater. Because I had sisters, I was forced to not only go to the theater for that one, but listen to the soundtrack on the way home, as if I had forgotten the words. And growing up with sisters, you kind of get to know musicals and fun stuff like that. Now, I didn't want to quite get into politics, but Donald Trump is ruining everything. He's kind of first of all, he's impeached. So I don't understand how he has the power, or how he is just pulling the strings or whatever to get to bomb Iran, but he did that, and all of a sudden World War III is becoming a trending topic on the social medias in a very scary, but very scary and real way. It's becoming a meme. It's become our way of dealing with these things, these issues, these really hard to swallow issues, such as war, like world war, like a catastrophe on a worldwide scale that the U.S. is forced to be involved in because, dare I say, there's another attack on our country. But, that's a really real scary possibility. Like the draft. I was thinking about this yesterday. If I were to be drafted, what would I do? Would I have no choice? Would I have to fight for something that I don't believe in? I don't really see the draft as an option in my life right now, and I don't believe I don't believe that that's what's happening, but that's where the memes are heading. Now, I wanted to go back into the history of the meme because it's very interesting to me. The first memes, I thought World War III was the first meme driven war, but it wasn't. World War II has the two main memes. It has Rosie the Riveter, "We can do this." She's got her bicep up. She's like showing the men that the women can work while the men are at war. Beautiful. That was a powerful meme. I remember that one. And then the other meme that I remember from history class is "Keep calm and carry on," which kind of it's kind of been derived in so many different fashions, like soccer fans have made it keep calm and follow United, keep calm and watch Arsenal lose, whatever the case may be. But yeah, so there have been memes throughout history. I was wrong. Even, in ancient Egyptian times, they had memes all on the wall with the fire and the cave dwellers and all that. Memes have, those are the first emojis, like hieroglyphics would be the first emoji. Anyway, fascinating stuff. Now, I believe, so we're at, yeah. I have been in, I guess I would say, a little bit of a flow state. It's really hard. Podcasting is really the stream of conscious art form. And so a flow state, I guess this would be a version of it where I've been talking for 22 minutes and I don't remember what I've been doing. So I wanted to talk about flow state versus work ethic. And I suppose it's not really a versus as much as it's, you have to put in the work. And I'm learning that now with music and with anything. The 10,000 hour rule is one of the major things that I think about in terms of this stuff, because you kind of have to, there's no choice. There's no shortcuts to becoming proficient at something. If you want to hone your craft, if you want to be the best at whatever you want to be, you have to put in the work. You have to put in the time. You have to put in the energy of, honing your craft and perfecting it and kind of getting all the tools down in order for you to succeed in your craft. And the flow state comes, the flow state comes after, I would say, after you've developed some sort of a work ethic. That only makes sense, right? Like, you have to be proficient at, whatever it is, making beats or whatever the case may be. You have to be proficient at that in order for you to achieve this flow state. The flow state is a very subjective term. I mean, I just popped my back again. It's going to happen once per podcast, people. Believe me. Folks, believe me. This is the best podcast. The JEROMESTRIKEBEATS podcast is... I could either do Trump impressions or Cats impressions, but I'm not going to do either for you guys. Now, developing the flow state is really important, and you kind of have to develop that work ethic. I know I'm reiterating what I just said, but you have to develop that work ethic in order to get to achieve the flow state. The flow state does not come easily. You lose your head in it. You can lose yourself in your work. You can immerse yourself, and that sort of becomes your flow state. It's difficult to tell, but then, at the end of the night, you have something that you're proud of, and it usually works out like that. It's difficult to tell sometimes whether or not you've achieved your flow state, but it's one of those things that an artist should be looking out for, is their ability to achieve this flow state. And the fact that it exists should be a constant motivation. It should be a constant way of letting you know that you're on the right path and that you're working towards your goals. Cheers. Now, the Jerome Strike Beats podcast, initially it was going to be weekly, but I'm going to kind of do episodes whenever I feel like it. I'm hopefully going to have Haley on the podcast soon. She's looking to be my first guest. And yeah, I'd love to get some questions from you guys. If you guys have any questions for me, if you guys have anything that you guys want me to talk about or discuss, or if you guys want to say hi, shoot me a tweet or an email or an Instagram DM, or whatever you'd like. The show is still in its beginning stages. It's in its a bit of newborn stages. It's kind of got on its baby legs. So I'm still discovering what the show's about. I'm still discovering what I want to talk about and what is going to be interesting to you guys and to me. And I wanted to close with networking. Networking is a new thing that I'm learning also how to do. And that can involve a ton of different things. Like networking can involve sending beats to higher up people who have already achieved goals, who have already reached a certain plateau, or it can be involving, communicating with artists at your level, an artist you want to collab with, an artist you want to make things happen with. Networking can be just knowing the person, just kind of having a conversation, just kind of showing them love. As I've heard this many times, love is the easiest way to, show someone and that you care and that you want to network with them. It's a lot better than passive aggressiveness or being a hater just on top of things. I've had, my share of people just kind of who either, just gloss over my beats or don't care, or I got one thumbs down on a YouTube video one time. I just, I try not to, these things, I don't remember them that well. And they don't happen often. I'm sure as you get, more and more success, you have more and more haters. That seems to make logical sense. But networking is the antidote to that. Networking is providing value and providing, some sort of yourself, some form of yourself. Like, what are you exactly selling to people? What are you trying to get people to buy from you or whatever? What are you trying to achieve by speaking to people, by posting every day? It's kind of really, and I'm learning. I've definitely taken a lot of cues from the Cymatics guys, Drew and Steven, shout out. Gary V is another inspiration. He's very much on the forefront of TikTok. He's teaching us how to use TikTok. I haven't decided if the podcast is going to go on TikTok. I might put a couple clips up on there to see how it does. But it's just, right now TikTok is a really weird art form to me, and I can't completely decide how I feel about it, which obviously means it's doing something right, because I have an opinion on it. I mean, I have an opinion I don't know what my opinion is on it. It's TikTok can be for white girls ordering their Starbucks, or it can be for, a viral dance-off that your song can kind of achieve 1 million TikTok plays in a week or something, So anything can happen. It's kind of, that's the beauty of this world. That's the beauty of this world that we live in. I just wanted to say before I wrap things up, 2020 vision, y'all. Hashtag 2020. We're still making this the best year possible, and I can't do it without you guys. I'm trying to, achieve a lot of things. I want to put out some beats. I'm going to try to post some beats this week. I did a Dawn Williams cover called Miracles. I'm going to try to put that up today or tomorrow. So just a lot of different, I got a lot of music coming out. Still working on a couple vocal ideas. I'm not sure if, and let me know if you guys want to hear me do some songs with vocals, or if you guys want to hear, some straight beats. If you guys are listening to chill out to some beats, then I got you on that too. So, just keep an eye out for this podcast. I'm recording it on a Saturday, but I'm going to hopefully get it out within the next couple days. And that's Jerome Strike Beats. And you have been listening. This is the Jerome Strike Beats podcast. Episode 2. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time.